So, I've been having this problem lately of like binging TV shows too fast. So, there's the show Cobra Kai, and it's on YouTube and Netflix. And Cobra Kai, it's the Cobra Kai from fucking Karate Kid, and it takes place, in the present time. So like right now, but the third season hasn't come out yet, so it only has 2 seasons, 10 episodes each season. Each episode's about 30 minutes. Just coughing from the smoke, not COVID, swear. And so each episode's about 30 minutes, 10 episodes a season, 2 seasons. Well, that's about 10 hours of television. So I'm like, okay, gotta maybe manage this, make sure I don't watch too many episodes at once, and run right through the show. But I started the show and I couldn't stop. I watched 6 episodes in a row the first season. Then the second day I got all the way up to like the 3rd episode in the second season, and then I finished the second season in the 3rd day. So I finished in 3 days, and oh my god, that show is so good. So it like takes place right after Johnny and Daniel-san, they're at the karate tournament, and Daniel-san hits him with that crane kick. He goes waka, after Johnny Sensei John Kreese, who is like I'm not spoiling shit, but he's a badass, like not badass as in good, but maybe jackass as in bad, mean person in the movie. And he's like, sweep the leg, and Johnny's like, what? I can't do that. And he goes, you got a problem with that. And it's like, oh my god, that was some good fucking cinema. And anyway, so Johnny Gets knocked out by the crane kick by Daniel-san. Karate Kid 2 comes in. Then didn't ever watch Karate Kid 3, but that happened. And so now here's Cobra Kai, and then you see Johnny, and he's kind of like, I'm not gonna spoil anything. You gotta watch it. It's on YouTube. You gotta get YouTube Premium to see like all the episodes. But if you have Netflix, it's on Netflix. And season 3 comes out next year. They've announced 2021, which I'm hyped for. And so Cobra Kai follows Johnny Lawrence, the blonde kid who's from Cobra Kai and the Karate Kid. And he's kind of like this middle-aged, 40-year-old, kind of washed-up guy. He's not really doing shit with his life. And then all of a sudden, he runs into some money somehow, opens up Cobra Kai, and, starts kind of teaching the ways of Cobra Kai. And then there's this kid named Miguel Diaz, and he's super cool, but, like, he's getting, like, picked on at school and stuff, because, he doesn't know how to fight, he doesn't know how to defend himself, which is a lot of the case, which is... Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's how you say a lot of the cases that occur today in, society, or whatever you want to say, the educational system of our grand society, this grand country. So in schools, basically, kids get picked on. They don't know how to fight. That's why you see like those YouTube videos or that Instagram video of that girl. She's like picking on this other little girl, and then the little girl jumps up and throws her in a fucking flying arm bar and like throws her on the ground and like snap the other girl's arm. Yeah, that shit was on Instagram. I was like, oh my god, this like 8-year-old looking girl just went perfect technique, jumped, got the arm bar, like while the other girl was standing, managed to get her legs across her face and her body while in the air, so she flipped her hips over, then drove her to the ground and popped her arm. It's like, oh my god, Minotauro Nogueira, eat your heart out. Bruh. Oh, so good. But anyways, so yeah, it's stuff like that. So like, then Johnny Lawrence is teaching Miguel Diaz how to fight and shit. He's like, ha, ha, and then they're like, Cobra Kai, strike first, strike hard, no mercy. And so I'm like, damn, that is some cold-blooded shit. Because then you see all these like kind of, I don't want to say nerdy in like a mean kind of way, but nerdy in the stereotypical way of where they're like, the glasses, they're kind of like geeky, they're not all necessarily smart, like, so, they're not all like book smart. Some of them are just kind of, they got the worst of both worlds, if you know what I mean. And so, like, then there's this one kid, and he had like a cleft palate lip, and I felt like, and like, so he gets picked on at school, and then like I felt bad for him, and then in the dojo at Cobra Kai, Johnny's like, oh yeah, this kid named Lip, and his name isn't Lip, it's like Eli, and he's like, don't call me Lip. And he's like, oh, why shouldn't I call you Lip? I'm like, god damn, that's pretty fucked up. But this is all in a television show, and I'm thinking, wow, the Karate Kid was pretty fucked up. I mean, they made fun of a kid, they pushed him off a cliff while he was riding his bike and all that shit, but I mean, god, Cobra Kai takes it to another level. They're fucking mean in this show. It's terrible. Great show, but terrible. Terrible. I mean, what's her name? Melania Trump says, be best. Be best. These kids aren't being best at all. I can tell you that. They're being bad. Melania Trump, you should speak to the writers and producers of Cobra Kai and say, hey, you need to show, or like start writing and portraying children who are nicer to each other. Because this is not okay. God, that is just... In one scene, I'm not going to say who, kid gets crippled. Well, presumably, I mean, he falls over a ledge and then, like, falls and breaks his back on the staircase, like, arm rail thing. And I'm like, Jesus Christ! What kind of show is this? He showed him mercy! And you know what? Mercy got him fucked up. Mercy in the show got him fucked up. See, he shouldn't have shown mercy, and that's why he got his back broken, just like Batman did from Bane and, Dark Knight Rises. Remember that scene? I remembered that scene. Because, you're like, okay, Batman, he somehow got through the Joker in the Dark Knight. That's fucking good, okay? Joker didn't die, but, he was presumably alive. Then, oh my god, Catwoman, who is played by Anne Hathaway in The Dark Knight Rises, fucked over Batman, who was, played by Christian Bale with Dan Hardy, not Dan Hardy, right? Fuck, what is his name? Not Dan Hardy. Hold up, I gotta look this up. Is it Dan Hardy? No, Dan Hardy's the UFC fighter. Dark Knight, Knight Rises. Dark Knight Rises. What's his name? Tom Hardy? Is it Tom? It is Tom Hardy. Tom Hardy plays Bane. And that guy is juiced to the gills in that fucking movie. But you know what? Christian Bale's a bad motherfucker. And so he's walking in, and then they're kind of like walking up, and he's like, gah, gah. And he's like punching Bane with everything he has, but Bane's, like blocking, like, choosh, choosh, choosh. And then he goes, boom. Oh. I was born in the darkness. And I was like, oh my god, bro. Batman is straight fucked. And then he's just like, boom, boom, boom. And then Batman's like, and he's like, yes, now I must break you. Like he is fucking Ivan Drago from Rocky number 4. And he's like, I must break you. To, Rocky, right when they're about to fight, the guy with the 2,000 PSI punch. And so... it's crazy, because then he just, like, punches Batman's head and, like, breaks his, like, cowl, or I'm pretty sure it's the cowl. So his, like, face mask covering. It's like, oh, shit. He fucked Batman up, and then he picks up Batman and, like, breaks him over his knee and, like, breaks his back. And I'm like, oh, shit. So this all ties back into Cobra Kai. So that is some Dark Knight Rises type shit where he breaks his back. But, he didn't break his back on his knee like you'd see something maybe, Mortal Kombat or Dark Knight Rises. But, I mean, he fucked him up. And all because that character, won't say who because I don't want to spoil it, showed mercy. You fucked up. You should have finished him. Done a fatality or a babality or some kind of finishing move or kick or some kind of shit. But he didn't. And so Cobra Kai is pretty good. I like the show. And it's pretty funny. So it's not all bad. I know I've been kind of giving it a bad sense, or like kind of a bad aura. But, it's a really funny show. I mean, it's really good, really well written. And they actually have Ralph Macchio. Wait, Ralph Macchio? Yeah. who plays Daniel-san, and he comes back in the show too. So he has his own storyline, and it's not all just like Johnny Lawrence and Cobra Kai. It also has like Pat Morita, I think was his last name, the guy who played Mr. Miyagi in The Karate Kid. He's kind of in it, as in like memories, like a symbol, for Daniel-san. But like he's in it too, like in ways, and it's kind of cool. So it shows like it's the whole cast from that era, and it shows like what they're kind of doing now. So it's like it's a really good sequel to The Karate Kid, whatever. I don't consider though the one with Jaden Smith and fucking Jackie Chan to be a Karate Kid. It wasn't even karate. And you know what? I never understood that shit. It's like, what the fuck? It's like Scarlett Johansson playing, I don't know what she did, Ghost in a Shell or whatever. And it's like, you're not even Asian. You're white. And I'm not to say that Jaden Smith can't do karate because he's black. He can do karate. A black karate fighter's cool. They actually have stuff like that, like in the Bruce Lee movies that you had with fucking what's his name? I don't know, the 7-foot tall guy. Shit, what is his name? I don't know. What's his name? Oh, Pat Morita. Yeah, he does play Mr. Miyagi. But anyways, and so that's what I'm saying. Is like, bruh, you didn't even do karate. Multiple times in the fucking movie, you say kung fu. Kung fu. You're not even in Japan. You're in fucking China. They don't do karate in China. What the fuck? That doesn't make any sense. It's like, but you call it the Karate Kid. You call it the Karate Kid. You did it for money. It was a cash grab, you fucks. And it's, and I don't understand it. And people go, oh, well, you don't have to get mad. I'm not mad. I just get excited. That's why I have so much enthusiasm in my voice. I'm not mad. I'm excited. But I do go, Karate Kid 2, they went to fucking Japan at least. Hey, Karate Kid 1, they had a Japanese person play Mr. Miyagi. You don't have a fucking Chinese person playing what is supposed to be a Japanese person in a movie that's karate. Karate Kid. Karate is Japanese. Kung Fu is Chinese. If you call it the Kung Fu Kid, it doesn't have a ring to it, but you call it the Kung Fu Kid, and you learn Kung Fu. You don't call it the Kung Fu Kid, and you learn karate, and you don't call it the Karate Kid, and you learn Kung Fu. You keep the martial art under the fucking name in the movie that you're gonna write about. Doesn't that make sense? Doesn't that make goddamn sense? You're not gonna call it, a baseball flick, and then it's gonna be about football, but it's not the regular football like American football. It's gonna be football like from Europe or Brazil, and you're gonna have it as soccer, but you're gonna call it baseball, even though it has nothing to do with baseball. And in the movie, you call it football. You don't say a fucking lick about baseball. That is what I'm talking about here. That doesn't make any goddamn sense to me. But you know what? Then again, I'm just the viewer. I'm not a producer, so that's why I have a podcast. I can just preach out these opinions. Oh my god, that doesn't make any goddamn sense. What I just said and about the Karate Kid. Even in the film. But in the film, what's wild is he does the same finishing move like Daniel-san did. The crane kick where he's standing up and he's like, ooh, I'm like a snake. I'm like, motherfucker, what? You're a snake? Because you saw the lady imitating a snake? No. Did she have a flute? No. Because in real life, that snake would have looked at her, and she would have gone cross-eyed like, oh, and it would have bit her right in the fucking face. Right on the nose. But you know what? You don't see that because it was rated PG-13. If it was rated R, it would have bit her on the fucking nose. And so, you know what? That doesn't make any sense. So in the movie, he's like, oh, I'm a snake. And that's what I don't understand in these films. It's like they go, yeah, and they're doing all these spinning things. And it's like, bruh, if you just put up your guard and then you do a check hook to their ribs, you can drop them. Especially if you're in the southpaw stance and you throw a power left body hook and you just block. You avoid the spin, you avoid their attack, and you just drop down and you hit him in the ribs. You shut him down with the liver. This isn't hard. But this karate tournament's wild. And then you see the kid with the mohawk, and he's like, he keeps like spiking his mohawk up higher, and then he gets his ass fucked up. And it's like, yeah, that's what I thought. But you know what? This is like the Star Wars, the new trilogy, the 7, 8, 9. You did number 7 exactly like Star Wars: A New Hope. It was Star Wars: A New Hope. It was a goddamn cash grab, and good job, because you got my fucking money. And I went to the midnight premiere. That was pretty well, it was more like the 8 o'clock premiere, because they started doing movies lately where it's not necessarily a midnight premiere, because I don't think they want people there that late, but they do like an 8 p.m. premiere, so it's early. It's kind of nice. I mean, you don't have to stay up as late. I mean, you're just kind of like, oh, yeah, I can go home, go to sleep. You will be up into the next day. You know, you don't have to wake up late. Your sleep schedule's not fucked. But anyways, so what I'm talking about here is that you did Star Wars Episode 4 exactly, or Star Wars Episode 7 exactly the same as Episode 4. The Force Awakens is basically A New Hope, except you have different names. And hey, you might have added in an Asian this time. Except, you know what? You didn't include him in 8 and 9 either. What the fuck? I got a notification. Oh, it's a photo notification. When do you get photo notifications on your phone? Well, he created a new album. Like, well, I didn't create it, so I didn't ask you to create it. Where was I? So, anyways, 7, 8, and 9. So, 7, okay. So, the Asians in the fucking Star Wars film, you barely add them in. And then, that's why John Boyega came out recently and goes, oh, well, you know, the Star Wars people, they didn't include me in the film as much. You know, they kind of just had my part, and then they downsized my part. And it's like, well, yeah, John, I'm sorry, but you didn't notice that? I fucking noticed that when they showed the trailer for 7, because they had a black person and then a female lead. And it's like, oh, okay, that's cool. You can have a black person and a female lead, but I see what Disney's doing. I see what you guys are fucking doing. You're only doing it to show, oh, hey, we're diverse. We include everybody. But you don't make everybody equal. You might include everybody. You might. But you don't make everybody's part equal. So I feel bad for John. Because you know what? Yeah, they fucked him over. They did. They brought him in with the part. And they said, hey, we got a good part for you. And then they handed over the reins to Daisy Ridley. And it was like, she did cool. But it was like the whole Kylo Ren relationship thing was fucking weird. That guy is like 30 years older than her. I don't understand it. Maybe he's 20. I don't know. Maybe he's 10. I don't know. But you know what? I thought John Boyega with the lightsaber in Episode 7 was cool. And then they gave him a blaster for the rest of the fucking film. It's like, why didn't he have a lightsaber? John Boyega was cool. And it was like, well, what the fuck? What the fuck is going on here, Disney? What the fuck is going on here? And so this is what's going on with the Karate Kid. And then the Karate Kid. And that is a bad id. Because you know what? The Karate Kid had Pat Morita, or whatever, and Ralph Macchio. That was a good fucking film. And then you see John Kreese, the coach for Cobra Kai, go, finish him! And he goes, ah, ah! And then, you know, he misses. And then, you know, Daniel San goes, ah, ah, and kicked him in the face and, you know, knocked out Johnny Lawrence and won the all under 18 Valley State Karate Tournament, whatever bullshit title. But, you know, that was fucking dope. And then in this one, it's like you have basically the same thing, except the Chinese kung fu instructor looks like he has a stick up his ass and he's cross-eyed the whole movie, like, and it's kind of like, and then all these Chinese kids, it's the fucking same movie. You did the goddamn same thing. You did the same thing, except you put it in China, so there was more smog in the air. It is ridiculous. It's like, oh, hey, look, the other films in California, the original Karate Kid, yeah, sunny blue skies. This Karate Kid's different. Why is that? Well, because it's not really karate, it's kung fu, and you can't see the sun under all this smog. But you know what? Whatever. Fuck me, right? I saw it for free. So, yeah, it was weird too. I remember that. My aunt was actually doing this thing for our Buddhist church. She did taiko drums, you know, where they go, hi, dun 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 dun. You know, the big, giant banging drums Japanese people bang. And so, you know, she did that, and she got free tickets to the Karate Kid, which is weird they would get a Japanese Buddhist group for a Chinese kung fu movie when it's not even about karate. It's not even about karate. And so, yeah, that was weird. But, I didn't see it then. I just saw it when it came on TV, like on FX. Like when FX shows the free version. I was like, this is interesting enough, but, it's kind of bullshit. So, kind of bullshit. Maybe if you did something in Japan, like you did like a Fast and the Furious Tokyo Drift, but you did it Karate Kid. Like, you could have Lucas Black play the Karate Kid. Maybe, what is he in his 40s now? The Karate Guy, Karate Man, the Karate Man. And you just call it the Karate Man. And he'd fight people, and then at nighttime he could Tokyo Drift, but in the daytime he learns karate. But who does he learn it from? Oh, this is where it gets interesting. This is where it's 2020, so we'll be politically correct. We'll get someone black. Ooh, we'll get someone Sam L. Jackson, maybe. Ooh, that could be cool. He'd be like, I pity the fool who... Oh, wait, no, fuck, that's Mr. T. Oh, goddamn. He goes, I'm tired of all these motherfuckers thinking you can't do karate. And then he'd be like, bah! And then he'd, like, fight everybody, and you'd have, like, Sam Jackson, who, by the way, he knows martial arts background. He has a martial arts background because he was in the 1, 2, 3 trilogy, the prequels or whatever. Maybe it's the sequels? I don't know how they organize the Star Wars. But he could be in that. And he's good with a lightsaber because they actually practice the fight scenes. It wasn't some bullshit like you have in the newer ones or in the old ones. You got the middle ones. The Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace, Star Wars Episode 2, The Clone Wars, and Star Wars Episode 3, which, in my opinion, is the best Star Wars, Revenge of the Sith. That one is the fucking best. I'll go back to that after this. But you have Sam Jackson, he has the lightsaber, can fight, and I figure, he'd be a great instructor for Lucas Black, and they could drift together. So, I think that would be cool. There'd be some comic relief there with Sam Jackson. He could say some interesting things. You'd have Lucas Black with his, kind of southern accent, like, are we gonna drift? They call me a gaijin. Like, that kind of shit. So, I think that would be cool. That would be a cool thing. Maybe you could call it, like, Karate Drift. Karate Drift. That could be cool. Get the director, though, for Fast and Furious. The writers, though, from the Karate Kid. Or maybe Cobra Kai. Karate Drift. What? So, anyways, Star Wars Episode 3. Why is that the best Star Wars? Well, I don't know. Many would go, oh no, the original Star Wars is the best. It's the original. Well, there's a lot of things wrong with that theory, but okay, I'll accept it. However... Why is Star Wars Episode 3 the best? It has the most fight scenes. It starts out with a battle over Coruscant where you have Anakin Skywalker and Obi-Wan Kenobi, and they're kind of like going through space and they're fighting all the droids and shit, and then they're like pew pew pew, they're trying to get to General Grievous's ship, and fucking this shit's about to go down. They gotta go get Palpatine, but Count Dooku's aboard because they go, Anakin, Anakin, I sense Count Dooku aboard that vessel. And he goes, are you sure, Master? And he goes, I know it, Anakin. Come on, we gotta go aboard. We gotta get Emperor Palpatine. Senator Palpatine. A wink. And so they go aboard the vessel, right? They got R2-D2. He's doing some comic shit, which is kind of weird because I'm like, these movies didn't really used to have that, like, purposeful comic relief. But I guess R2-D2 did that in this film. So, alright, I'm with it. Fuck it. Yeah, I'm with it. Let's do it. Okay, so already watching the film. I'm already invested into it. And then, they're fighting and shit. And then Anakin and Count Dooku are squaring off, and he goes, Count, I have doubled my power since the last time we've met. And he goes, ooh, I know. Or maybe some bullshit like that. And they're like, pew, 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 pew. Anyways, Anakin gets him down on his knees. Not sexually, but, pew, defeats him. And then he has both blades, like, crossed over. And then this is the part where I'm like, oh shit, Emperor Palpatine is a fucking cold-blooded G. He's like, Anakin, you have to kill him. And Anakin's like, no, he must go to trial. And then Emperor Palpatine, they zoom in on his face, and he's like, do it. And then you're like, oh shit, okay, fuck. Okay, Emperor Palpatine, he is fucking with the game. He's ready to kill off the motherfuckers. And Dooku, like, looks over to his right, like, what the fuck, bro? After all we've been through, but it's not said. It's all through the eyes. And, you know, Palpatine's just like, huh, you're fucking lost, bro. You know how it goes. And then you just see clink. And you just see Dooku's head just rolling on the ground. You're like, what is this movie rated again? Because I remember my dad took me to see that in the theaters when I was in 3rd grade. He took me out of school early. One day I didn't have to go to campus club. That fucking hellhole. And, yeah, I remember he took me to, my sister and I to go to the movie theater, and we saw that. And it was like, I remember thinking, like, what is this rated? Like, this is PG-13. Wow. I'm like, you're chopping people's heads off. Like, what the fuck, bro? What the fuck? Anyways, so then, you know, later on in the movie, you know, watching this shit. What was I going? Oh, why, this one's the best episode. And so, you know, they're fighting. They got all these fucking scenes. General Grievous has 4 fucking lightsabers. I don't know how Obi-Wan beat him. I mean, I've been reading online, like, the Wikipedia. And, you know, like, he's the best defensive guy or lightsaber duelist in, you know, the galaxy, which I'm like, okay, that makes total sense because he's fighting General Grievous, and General Grievous has 4 fucking lightsabers. He's like, I'm like, what the fuck? How do you fight this shit? Does he have the Force? And he's like, no, he doesn't have the Force. And it's like, oh, okay, well, you know, it's not overpowered, but if I was playing with him in Star Wars Battlefront, I mean, it's pretty still OP. And so, anyways, he's like, you know, chopping it up. Obi-Wan blasts him in the stomach, shot him in the heart like a dead-eye, cold-blooded shooter assassin. Kills Grievous. Anyways, so, later on, right, when Anakin notifies Mace Windu, Sam Jackson, who would be the new, you know, kind of Mr. Miyagi in the Karate Drift movie, he notifies Mace Windu, you know, oh, hey, Emperor Palpatine, I think that's the fucking Sith Lord. Windu's like, are you serious? Anakin's like, yeah, I'm pretty serious. He just told me. Am I serious? And Mace Windu's like, alright, well, if what you say is true, well, it is. Well, what if what you say is true, then you'll be promoted to a Jedi Master or whatever. You'll be able to sit on the council, whatever your bitch ass was crying about this whole fucking film. And we're gonna go kill the Emperor, let's go! But you stay here, Anakin. Anakin gets all butthurt, because he's like, oh, I wanted to go too. I kind of wanted to get my nut off. You know, I kind of need to bust the load, kill the Emperor, so... kind of weird you making me stay here, but okay, I'll do it. And then he's like getting all frustrated, sitting at home, whatever. It's like, bro, you just need to, like, you know, bust one out, calm down, sit back, think, clear your head, maybe play some PlayStation. I don't know. Do something. But he did the wrong thing by going over to Windu. And so they're all fighting. But this is the cool part. Where Emperor Palpatine, they come in and accuse Palpatine of being Senator Palpatine for the time being, of being the Sith Lord. And he goes, oh, it's treason then. And like all of a sudden this lightsaber slips out from his sleeve and it goes, and he cuts down all these Jedi Masters. And you're like, whoa, what the fuck? Palpatine? I mean, you know, you could tell by the voice, especially in episode 1 and in the last episode, episode 2, if you see at the end scene where Dooku's on Coruscant and you see in the robe, it's kind of, you could tell it's Palpatine. You could tell. But anyways, it was like, whoa, what the fuck, bro? You just killed all these Jedi Masters. And then he's fighting with Windu, and then Windu's beating his ass. He's like, ah. And then, you know, Anakin's like, no, we must put him to trial. And then Windu's like, no, we gotta kill him. And Anakin's like, no, I need him. Because, you know, he thinks he can save Padme. And Palpatine's like, help me, Anakin. I'm getting weak. And then it's like, bro, you know he's about to die. Windu's about to kill him. And then Anakin fucks him up. And then Palpatine's like, unlimited power. And then shoots him with the fucking lightning. And at this point, I'm just so confused because I'm like, okay, so he was bluffing. Well, he looks hideous. Looks like my stepmother. Jesus Christ, he looks like my stepmother at this point. But somehow he still has voice lighting. And it's like, oh. Well, shit. The galaxy's fucked now. And anyway, so Anakin goes and kills younglings. I know. Fucked, right? Anakin killed younglings? Yes, Padme, he killed the younglings. We had it on video. For some reason, we never had that before in this whole entire movie. We never kind of thought to look at that shit. But, yeah, apparently in this third film, now we have video surveillance, and, yeah, we caught him. So that's how we found out. Never had it in the previous two movies. For some fucking reason. That would have saved a whole lot of time. Anyways. So yeah, that all happened. And then, you know, Anakin and... Oh wait, you had the duel with Palpatine and Yoda. Yoda's a fucking... And he's beating the shit out of Palpatine. Palpatine starts throwing those fucking senator disc things at him like frisbees. Like, whoo, whoo, whoo. And it's like, okay, well this is wild. But the coolest battle in all of the whole Star Wars saga, whatever you want to call it, anything Star Wars, was Obi-Wan Kenobi and Anakin Skywalker on Mustafar. That was fucking lit. Not only was the fight good, but it was kind of emotional too, because he's like, you were my brother, Anakin. I loved you. And Anakin's like, I hate you. And you're like, oh shit. You could tell in his eyes too, because his eyes started to turn all like yellow in the pupils, but they were red. Like, you're like, okay, maybe he's on. No, he's not on. Did he smoke? He didn't smoke. Oh wow, his eyes are red. That must be anger. And so you could see it, and he went over to the dark side. But Obi-Wan did tell him, Anakin, don't do it. I have the high ground. Anakin thought he had the power. Which in the Star Wars Episode 3 video game, there are alternate endings. You can either chop up Anakin like what happened in the movies, or Anakin can somehow go kill Obi-Wan, which was a cool ass ending, by the way. And so yeah, it was pretty dope. But anyways, and then at the end, oh my god, at the end, so sad. At the end, when Anakin, after he gets cut up on Mustafar, gets lit on fire, and somehow the Emperor finds him, he's like, he's alive, get a med ship. And then they take him over, they get him, they put on the suit and shit. And then he's like, where's Padme? Where's Padme? And the Emperor's like, it seems that in your anger, you killed her. And he goes, no, I couldn't have. No. And then you just see kind of like the Emperor in the background, like kind of like, and you're like, fuck, bro, this is bad. And then, you know, they see them building the Death Star, and then just like, wow, is this how the galaxy is gonna fall into darkness? And, you know, the credits roll. And you're like, oh, wow, okay, Episode 3 was pretty badass. Oh, did I forget the Wookiees fighting on Kashyyyk? Yes, that was cool too. And you meet Chewbacca, and he's friends with Yoda. Fuck, it all ties together. And so, yeah, that's why I think Star Wars Episode 3 is the best episode. It's good, it was unique. You know, wasn't like Episode 4 or 7 in the slightest. So, you know, that was pretty dope. And, you know, it was good. That was the last good Star Wars to come out. Rogue One was cool. I just don't understand 7, 8, and 9. I don't. 7 was just like 4. 8 was like, what the fuck? The fight scene at the end. If you watch it in slow motion, there's a video on YouTube. You watch Episode 8 in slow motion, and you see they're like standing there like, what kind of fight scene is this? At least in the first 3 movies, Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace, Star Wars Episode 2, The Clone Wars, Star Wars Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith, they practiced those fight scenes. Ewan McGregor practiced those fucking fight scenes. I don't know what happened in 8 and 9, 7, 8, and 9. 9 was just like, Spoiler alert. 9 was fucking weird. You brought back the Emperor, and for some reason, he's the grandfather of fucking Rey. Like, are you shitting me? And then you see all these, like, goons, like, around, like, the Sith are this giant thing, and it's like, bro, you haven't mentioned this in the movies before. I get it if you read the books. Okay, I get it. But no. Most of the people haven't read the goddamn books. I only looked at the books and got them from fucking Borders when I was 7 because the covers look cool. I didn't like to read them. The covers look cool. And I could bullshit them on my reading logs. I never read. And so, that's what I'm saying. Is like, it doesn't make sense. And then they're like, oh, God. And I don't know. It's a waste of time. I went on a $5 Tuesday. Thank God I went on a $5 Tuesday. That's really the best time to go for movies. $5 Tuesday. But, you know, movie theaters aren't really open anymore, so that kind of sucks. However, you can rent them. Like, the other day, for $20, I rented, the, fucking Bill and Ted Face the Music. And that movie was bad. I like Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. That was cool. I didn't see the second one. But Face the Music was kind of bad. It's like, okay. From the trailers, it seems like the daughters were going to be involved more, but they were just kind of like going through history like in the first movie, but you didn't really see most of it. I mean, you saw some of the shit, but it didn't really make any sense. And then, like, Bill and Ted were kind of doing their own thing, but then that was just kind of goofy. And then the whole, like, pardon me. Wow, smoking weed makes you burp. The more you know. And so, yeah, that was just kind of weird. I was like, oh. So the robot goes back in time, and then the robot has social anxiety or some kind of weird thing where he's just awkward as fuck. He's like, hi. It's like, what the fuck is this thing? This... Okay. Oh, God. Is this the guy who replaces Rufus? Is this the guy who replaces Dan Carlin? This is what you're using? This is what you're fucking filling my fucking mind with while I spend... I rented it for $20. I know, that was such a bad idea. It would have been the same price at the movie theater, unless you went on a $5 Tuesday, because then it would have been a quarter of the price, or half the price if you get 2 tickets. But yeah, it's just, oh God, that movie was so bad. And after I watched that, I was like, I knew I wasted $20. I was like, God damn it, that was not worth it in the slightest. It was not worth it. Not worth it at all. But you know what? I did it. Fucking did it. Yeah. I don't know. These movies lately. It feels like movies lately have been more just remakes. People need to come up with new ideas. Like a good movie I saw was that movie Us. That was pretty cool. Like, you know, what I think her name was Lupita Nyong'o. She's dope. The Jordan Peele movie where, you know, the family's in Santa Cruz and then they have clones of them and then they come in and then they're like, oh, who are you? They're us. And you're like, oh shit. And then they're like, and they're like making all these weird noises and like, yeah, it was just weird. It was scary, but it was a good movie. That was some good shit. Last really kind of good movie I saw. Another good movie? I don't know. I remember I was hearing they were going to make a Mrs. Doubtfire 2, and I was kind of skeptical at first, but then when they said everybody was going to be on board, this is like many years ago, so it must have been like 6 years ago. So like 2014, and everybody was on board. Like Sally Fields was on board. They were going to get Robin Williams. Robin Williams was going to do it, and then Robin Williams passed away, and it was like, fuck. Now we're not going to get a Mrs. Doubtfire 2, which, I mean, is kind of cool, because it's like, okay, there's the Mrs. Doubtfire, you know, they didn't hit it out of the park, and they didn't miss it with a Mrs. Doubtfire 2. It's like, there's just the Mrs. Doubtfire. It's sad, though, but it's like, fuck, okay. But it feels like everything lately is just, like, bad. That's why I like this Cobra Kai, because it's like, You're not doing the same shit. I mean, you do some of the same shit that you had in Karate Kid, like to kind of set the base for the show, but then they move in a completely different direction from there. And you keep the good cast, you keep the good base, and they keep a good storyline, they keep it consistent. And I like it being on Netflix, and like it's unfortunate that you like I binged it like in 3 days, doom, boom, boom, done. But it's cool because I'm like, okay, it's an interesting show. And I don't have to worry about feeling like, oh, I'm just watching The Karate Kid again, or, some bullshit like that. Because, yeah, that Karate Kid with Jaden Smith. Not even fucking Karate Kid. It's the Kung Fu Kid. I don't understand that. It's like the Avatar The Last Airbender movie. They call it The Last Airbender. Hey guys, do you want to go see The Last Airbender? Well, sure. I heard it's just like the cartoon. Then you go and watch the movie. The Firebenders. I didn't even watch that film. I couldn't soil the name of Avatar The Last Airbender in my mind. So I just heard people go, yeah, don't even firebend. They have to pull up this torch or this candle thing, like something you'd see in the fucking Scorpion King, those giant candles, that they're in the hallways, the Scorpion King candles. And you're like, oh, okay, so they gotta use that to fireburn? Yeah. Okay, well that's nothing like the cartoon. And all this other shit. Then you have mixed race children. Oh, hey! We got all these people, but they don't even look like the cartoon. Why don't you get them to look like the fucking cartoon? Get them to look like the cartoon. If they're Asian, get the Asian kids. Make them look like the cartoon. Make it like the cartoon. That's what we're paying for. I'm not paying for you to go and make something like Karate Kid and call it Karate Kid, and then you go and watch the film and it's not even karate. It is kung fu. Kung fucking fu. You want to learn kung fu? No. No, I don't. No, I do not. I would like to learn karate like the name says. At least make the name right. That's all I'm saying. I don't give a fuck if you call it the Kung Fu Kid. Don't call it the Karate Kid. That's like calling it Ferris Bueller's Day Off 2 and then having a Breakfast Club sequel. He doesn't have the day off because he's stuck in Saturday school. Bleh. Like, you guys are fucked in the head. Not fucked. Just got the priorities wrong in this film. Yeah, I don't know. Interesting though. Fantasy football's been fun though. I won this last week. Kind of cool. I played one of these guys who used to be a courier at the same place I was a courier at. That place kind of sucked. I won't say the name of the place because, I don't want to get a defamation suit or, whatever could come from them. Bunch of assholes. They fired me because this fat fuck coworker of mine. Nothing against overweight people. I like overweight people. This guy's a fat fuck though. And, he never did anything. But I would do stuff. And then, the stuff I would do. So I'd, vacuum. And I'd do all these other things like dust and do all these things. And then I wouldn't talk about it. Because I don't really want to brag about it. I don't want to be one of those braggadocious people out there. Like, hey, look at fucking me. Ha ha ha. Look what I'm doing. And that guy would claim, the stuff I did. And he'd be like, oh, yeah, I did that. Oh, yeah, I told him to do that. Bah. His fucking fat fucking ass would never do anything. God, I don't like him. And so, anyways, I saw him one time when I was doing community service because, I got in trouble. Actually, in April, and I say these things because I want these listeners to know that, man, I kind of got this idea from, Joey Diaz. I want to be an open book. I don't get upset if people bring up past stuff about me. If it's meant in if it's brought up. Now, if you're trying to throw something at me like, oh, you're an alcoholic or oh, you're a drug addict. If you're trying to say it as an insult, then it's kind of like, wow, you're just trying to say that as an insult. Good job. I don't do that shit anymore. So, I don't see what you're trying to do here. But I don't mind when people bring up past stuff about me. I don't. Because I say, cool, let's talk about it. So anyways, in April 2018, I got a DUI, and so, because of that, I had to go through all that shit, and I had to do community service. And so when I was out there at community service, I saw that fat fuck coworker of mine walking away. I was like, interesting. Because prior to that, I'd been watching the movie Happy Feet. And I was like, Happy Feet, these penguins dance, but they sometimes waddle. And then it was funny because when I saw him waddling away that day, I was like, interesting. He's like Happy Feet, but I don't think he could dance like Happy Feet. I mean, maybe when he's having a stroke and he's keeling over because he like keeps like stuffing like chili cheese dogs down his fucking throat, and like I remember when he'd eat, he'd breathe like and he'd be like sweating and shit, and I'm just like, bro, like, why don't you finish what's in your mouth, sit down like the food and just like kind of sit, maybe instead of drinking like, 20 sodas a day, maybe like have a glass of water, maybe exercise. But I remember he would just act like he was the shit, so I don't know. I forgive him. Honestly, I'm not even mad about that shit anymore. I know I say like fat fucking things like that, but I'm not even mad about that shit anymore. I used to be. For a long time I held on to that anger, and I kind of realized, it's easy to talk about it, but it's just like, it doesn't mean anything. If I saw him on the street, I wouldn't be mean to him. I wouldn't do shit. It's just kind of like, you don't mean anything to me, and that's what I've realized. But people who like kind of like fuck you over, just kind of do you dirty in certain ways, or like whatever, it's like there's no point in being mad. It's just like, bro, they just don't mean anything. There's no anger, there's no nothing behind it. It's just, you don't mean anything to me. Not like I hate you or want to go out of my way to be mean to you. You just don't mean anything. That's all. Hope you have a good day, though. So, what else? Oh, I was watching this movie. Never finished it before. So when I was I went to school, community college for a while at Clovis Community, and one of my classes there, I took this film class. And in this film class, it was probably the easiest fucking class anyone's ever taken. Maybe besides my jazz class I had last semester at San Francisco State. That class, you never had to show up. The only thing you had to do was write 2 jazz reviews. And that counted as your midterm and your final. And you could turn them in on the last day of instruction, which, thanks to COVID, was online. So you had until the last day to just do 2 things, and you get 100% in the fucking class. It couldn't get much easier than that. It's fantastic. Anyway, so I had this film class at Clovis Community. It's like Film 1A, something. And it was every Friday for like 2 hours, 45 minutes. And you show up, you get roll, and on the first day of class, it was in the upstairs, one of the upstairs classrooms, and we watched and I missed the first week, but the second week I signed up, easy 3 units, and in the film we watched, never seen it before, but we saw The Graduate, and The Graduate, if you haven't seen it, it has Dustin Hoffman in it, and it's this film like from the 60s, and it has that song, "Here's to you, Mrs. Robinson, Jesus loves you more than you could know, whoa, whoa, whoa," like that song in it, and it's really good, and it's about this kid. He's a recent graduate, I think, from like college or something, comes home, or maybe it's high school or something, I don't know, but one of his neighbors or something is this like MILF, like cougar down the street, and he like fucks her and shit, and it's a good film, great film. And it's like Dustin Hoffman's big, coming out, breaking out moment for movies and cinema and stuff. Got him big, he's great in that film. And so we'd study these films, these older films, and we'd watch them, and then we'd kind of like figure out like, kind of like you watch patterns in the ways people like had their faces, the eye movement, certain scenes, the colors in the scenes, the way certain scenes are set up. They can tell you about what's going to occur. You study the art of being able to read a film, basically, which she is like from my film instructor, the professor in that class, she was from like Yugoslavia or something, so she'd kind of talk in this very strong accent, and you couldn't understand her, and she'd kind of like that, and it'd be like that kind of talking, and you'd be like, huh? And so like when we later on moved after the first week from that classroom into the lecture hall at the community college, you couldn't hear her. She didn't speak into like a microphone, so you'd be like, what? And she'd call out your name, and then she kind of just knew me by face, because I'd be like that, and she like kind of knew where people would sit. But I would sit in the back, so I'd figure out what kind of movie we were watching from the syllabus. And if I didn't really want to watch the film, or it seemed kind of boring, you'd wait for a roll, she'd call you, and then as soon as the film would start, she would sit down in the front of the class, in the very front row, and sit and watch the movie, because it'd be on a big screen. And when the film would get loud, you kind of crack open the back door, and you'd slip out, just take your shit, and dip, and go into the parking lot and drive off, go home. Bye-bye. Ha ha ha, it's Friday. And so that was great. But I remember one film we watched, and I regretted not seeing it, but I saw it last night on Netflix, was One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. And it has Jack Nicholson, and it's about this guy, McMasters or something, McMurphy. And he's this guy, and he's kind of sane, but they put him into a mental hospital, and he's with all these other mental patients. And he's there, and they kind of want to see, like, kind of assess if he's really mentally ill. And so McMurphy's in there, and it's great, and I'd never seen it before, and I'd missed it in that class. And so last night it was pretty cool that I saw it, because I was like, oh, wow, finally I'd see this fucking film, because, I hadn't seen it. It was good. It was kind of scary, kind of disturbing. Jack Nicholson's great, he was cool in The Departed, cool in Chinatown. I mean, I like Jack Nicholson. Jack Nicholson's very funny, and just his facial expressions, like in The Departed, where he's like a fucking rat, and he kind of like has his front two teeth out. He's like, and he's like looking around, like, God damn, that guy did fucking coke in the 80s and 70s when that shit was big. He's ripping those fucking lines, and you can tell in that movie he's fucking up. So good for Jack. Good for Jack. Those Martin Scorsese films are pretty good. I like Martin Scorsese. Have like The Departed. The Irishman was cool. A long fucking film. That was like 4 hours almost. The Irishman. What else? Hold on, let me look these up. Martin Scorsese films. There's Taxi Driver. Goodfellas. Oh, that's right. Goodfellas was dope. Raging Bull, Casino. I still haven't seen Casino. I gotta see that. Gangs of New York was cool. Very disturbing. I don't really like those movies. Scary. Wow, great film though was The Wolf of Wall Street. I like The Wolf of Wall Street. Wolf of Wall Street with Jordan Belfort. So good. It's crazy though, where he goes, oh yeah, weed to mellow me out, Adderall to help me focus, Xanax to relax me, morphine, cause fucking morphine. And he's like, cocaine to keep me up, and he's like, Quaaludes and blah blah blah. I'm like, Jesus Christ, bro. It's a surprise he didn't die from all the drugs he fucking did. But it was so funny when he did those fucking lemon Quaaludes, and they had the like delayed effect. And then he's like, bleh, and he like goes, I skipped all those phases and went to a new phase I called the cerebral palsy phase. And he's just like in a fetal position, like bleh, out of his fucking mind. And I mean, probably at the time it wasn't maybe fun for him, but I mean, to watch that in the film, I was laughing my ass off because I was like, this is hilarious. It's fucking hilarious. Ugh. That guy, wild. Anyways, yeah, I'm just gonna go smoke. Okay, well, that was a fun podcast. I'll see y'all in the next episode. Wow, this was episode number 10. That's crazy. Episode number 11 next. All right, I'll see y'all.